Hello friends, it's Cindy Brumbaugh with CindyLeeBDesigns.com, independent Stampin' Up demonstrator. I have a fun Waterfall fun fold card for you today. It's using the baby pool toys, and these baby pool toys are going to get some use at my house because just about 3 weeks ago I had my first grandbaby, a little girl, and I hadn't shared anything yet because the little one decided to come really early at 33 weeks. Mom got her blood pressure up pretty darn high. Well, she didn't do it, but she had to have her emergency C-section. She's done just wonderfully. She's gaining weight. She just has to stay in the hospital a couple more weeks, and then she'll be home and I get to cuddle with her. And so this card is for my little granddaughter. And so we're using all three images of the animals, the giraffe and the elephant and the lion, and of course we're going to put "It's a Girl" on there. This is a great little sentiment here for the little one who tugs on our heartstrings, because believe me, these cute little pictures of her that my son's been sending and my daughter-in-law's been sending are amazing. So these are so adorable little images, just perfect for a baby card. And so is the Playing with Patterns designer series paper. This paper is so colorful. It's got bold colors, but it's also got subtle colors and just perfect colors for a baby card. So that's what I did on this one, and I used this paper here on another card that I'd done, but I wanted to show you how pretty those were. Kind of looks like if you took the back of your pencil eraser on your pencil and put it in your ink pad and made a pattern with it. Now it uses Purple Posy in this card. Now remember, Purple Posy ink pad is not available, but we have the blends, we have the markers, we've got designer series paper, cardstock, embellishments, ribbon. So I'm still sometimes forget about that Purple Posy, but it is such a beautiful color. So we're going to be using that on this card, and this card really is super simple. It's a super wow card, but so easy to make. Now you can see on the front of this, it has designer series paper, and then I had a little piece that I saved for the inside of the card. So I want to show you how to do that. So I'm going to set this inside apart. Now I started out with a half sheet of our cardstock, and you can find all the measurements and the colors, the products I used over on my blog. Underneath the YouTube description, it says visit my blog here. Press that link, it takes you over to CindyLeeBDesigns.com. You'll find additional photos, measurements, any other fun stuff I want to tell you about the stamp set or the products. And you also can find those measurements and the products underneath the YouTube description. Also, it'll take you right to my Stampin' Up online store 24/7. Now on this card, I'm using a 4 by 5 1/4 inch designer series paper on the front, and that's also the size of the inside of the card, 4 by 5 1/4. And I'm using the basic white, our new basic white. It's working out wonderfully for me. Now, the reason why I already have this put on here is because I started the video and then I scored something wrong, and I thought I already have this on here. So you just adhere that to the front. And then this piece here is 1 by 4, and it has opening in the middle. So what I did is I used my Stampin' Seal. You could also use glue, but it has a longer dry time, and you really want this to be secure when you're putting the card together. So Stampin' Seal is perfect for that, or your tear and tape right along those edges. So just put it right along those edges so that you have an opening here for what we're going to put that sliding mechanism through. Okay, so what I did in that other video, and I'm seriously not very good at editing, so I just decided to just do it over again. So we're going to set this aside here, and we're going to get out our trimmer. Now this piece here, the sliding mechanism, is 2 3/4, and then it's 8 5/8. Now when you're working with 5/8, that's just 2 little tick marks past your ½ inch mark when you're measuring. So for instance, let me pull this over here. We're going to go to 8 5/8. So each one of these little tiny tick marks in between the bigger numbers like 8 and 9, there are 16 of those. So if you think of 2 of them is going to be 2/16, and if you reduce that fraction, it's down to 1/8. So always remember that one little tick mark is always a 16th, and then the one that's a little bit longer is an 1/8 mark. Okay, so we're going to go to 8 1/2, and since it's 5/8, so 8 1/2 was 4/8, it's 5/8, we're going to go past twice, 2 little tick marks. So this is 8 1/2, and then 2 little tick marks is going to bring us right there, and that's where we would cut our paper off. Okay, now we're going to do some scoring here for this mechanism. Now the scoring is at 1 3/4, so put that 8 5/8 inch up at the top, and then put your left side of your paper on the left side of your cutting groove. Make sure your cutting darker blade is at the top because we're going to use the lighter scoring blade, and we're going to score at 1 3/4. We're going to slide it over and go to 2 1/2, 2 1/2, 3 1/4, and 4 inches. So that is the hardest part of this card, is making your score. There you go. So you score that at 1 3/4, 2 1/2, 3 1/4, and 4. Okay, so there we go. Okay, so now that is going to be the piece that's going to go into our mechanism here. Okay, see how it slides in here? Okay, because we have, as you can see on this card, we have a little tag here. And on this one, I use the delicate, I think it's delicate tag topper, decorative. But this one, I'm going to use our scallop punch. Okay, so what you're going to do on this bigger portion here, the bigger portion, we're going to just put that into our tag topper, and we're going to put it down. You kind of go in at an angle so that you can get under there. And then you're going to get it down to where it's flush with the bottom of here. You'll see a little space. Well, on this one you don't. Some of the other ones you do. Okay, so you've got it down. You'll know you're in the middle when you have the same amount of space on each side. So just look at your punch and make sure you have the same amount of gray and that it's down at the bottom, and then we're just going to punch. There we go. Now, one thing you can do with this is you can just snip this with your scissors, or if you watched my gatefold tag, scallop tag, you can just put this into your trimmer and just make sure that you can see the groove, and then you'll just very slowly pull and you'll feel it go into that blank space. But you have to be real careful, especially with this one, because see, you could almost hear it there, and then that just takes that right off. So there we go. And then if you need to, you can just, I think I had it off a little bit. When you're doing videos, you're kind of looking at a different angle sometimes. So here we go. Alrighty. Paper snips to the rescue. Okay, so now we have that tag punch that is going to go down into that open space where we put that little 1-inch band here. Okay, so now the next thing we're going to do is we're putting it in here so we know which way it goes. Okay, now we're going to put some adhesive up here on the inside of the card. Okay, not on this part here, but on that part. Okay, like put your tag in there this way, and then you'll see your score lines. You have your bigger space here, and then your score lines, and then you have this. Now this is someplace else that you would use your tear and tape, or actually I think I will just use my Stampin' seal. And you're just going to put that right. I love how easy this glides on. And oh, got a little piece there. Okay, so now we have our adhesive here. Once again, I would use either some type of this, tape adhesive, either tear and tape or Stampin' seal. The glue that just takes a little more time to dry. So now the next thing we're going to do is we're going to be putting this edge here against the bottom edge of this band here. Okay. So the bottom edge of the band. Now you're also going to want to make sure that you don't have it too far over. You want this in the middle. So a little trick I do is I eyeball it using my grid paper once again, and then I'll just kind of put that grid paper, eyeball it there, and I see that the bottom of my tag punch is right in the middle here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I kind of know I'm right about in the middle, because this edge here is going to go to the bottom edge here. Now, I take it back. The scoring wasn't hard. The hardest part is making sure you put that in the right place. So what we're going to do is, don't pay attention to this tag. You're paying attention to the edge here. And you're just going to lift that tag up a little bit, because you want to get this, and I keep pulling it up so I keep it in the middle there. You want to get this edge right there. We pull it up a little bit more and make sure that it's straight. And it looks like I've got it. And then I put it here. So the only place it's adhered to is to the bottom of this, because see, this is free flowing, except for, go ahead, and I found this actually, the reason why I was struggling a little bit is fold these before you go to do that. It makes it so much easier because you have more wiggle, like, I don't know, a little space. So these are the little scores that are going to hold those little pieces that pull down each one of those squares. Okay, so now you can see how that is going to pull. Okay, so go ahead and score those before you put the bottom on there. I mean, as you can see, you can do it the other way, but I think it is a little bit easier. Okay, so now we're going to look at this here, and we have this bigger section here, and then 3 equal portions here. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to put on our little animals. Okay, so what I did here on this one is I put on the lion, and I used Calypso coral on the back of it. So I'm just going to put this on. I don't want to keep you guys too long, so I may not do the coloring since you can see what I did there. Okay, so the key here is go ahead and use a strong adhesive as well. Make sure you're putting it on the right place, right at the top. Okay, so only at the top. Make sure you're at the top, turn it only at the top. Now, you have this flat, and like I said, you can see a larger portion here, and then 3 equal rectangles there. You're going to put this on the top rectangle, and it's only adhered on that part of the rectangle, right there. Okay, now you're going to pull this down to the next rectangle, so you can see this next rectangle. And on that one, I did the cute little elephant. And I used the Calypso coral. And I just put that, these white squares are 2 1/4. And then the colored squares are 2 1/2. And so we use another strong adhesive at the top, only at the top. And we also give a little border around the left, right, and top. And no, it's not adhered. It's only adhered to that little portion there. So now we're going to pull that to the next one. And the next one is Mr. Giraffe. Mr. Giraffe was put on some crushed curry, because I colored the giraffe with crushed curry and Calypso. So I did his body with crushed curry and his spots with Calypso. So I thought that the crushed curry was a good, here we go. Once again, we have this little rectangle here we're looking at. We're putting this right there, so we have the same amount on each side and the top. There we go. And now we're going to pull it down again. And now we have this open section where we adhered it to. And then I just used Purple Posy for that one. And I'm going to go ahead and put, that one gets adhesive over the entire one because it doesn't flip. So I just put the colored cardstock here. And this colored cardstock is 2 1/2 by 1 1/2. Because this little piece here that goes in here is 1 1/4 by 2 1/4. But I'm actually going to stamp that, and I'm not going to actually what I'm going to do is put a little, I have this temporary removable adhesive. I'm going to put a little piece of a removable adhesive here, because what about when you make a baby card, but you don't know if it's going to be a boy or a girl? So I don't know what I wanted to put there. I put, oh wait, no, big baby, big love goes in there. So we can do that actually. Okay, so I'm going to use some Memento Black, which is up across the, there. Little baby, big love. Then you can finish off the next one with what? Let me see here. Don't want to get my table shaking on you here. Little baby, big love. See if I can do that straight. Oh, well, I caught an edge, and I'm sorry. Oh, now I got ink on it. So we'll do that later. So this last one here is, now I'm afraid I have ink on my fingers. Let me wipe it off real quick. Okay, so here we go. This last portion here, this piece of white is, I didn't write it down. So you're going to have to look on the YouTube description there. Well, actually, it wasn't that, just, I could just measure it for you. Get my ruler out here. Oop. I didn't quite get that. I'm trying to get a video done because my husband's coming back in, and he told me as a conference call, which means the conference call will be happening up in my loft as well as down in the kitchen. So this white was 2 1/4 by 3 1/4. So that meant my color cardstock was 2 1/2 by 3 1/2. Okay, so that's where you would put your it's a boy or it's a girl. Okay, I'm gonna put a little bit of my Stampin' seal on there and put that on the bottom portion of the tag, where the tag pull is. Alrighty, so let's just push that back up in underneath there and take a quick look there and add the card here. Okay, so on my lion here, I colored it with Calypso and Daffodil. And crushed curry. And then these beautiful resin dots, the playing with patterns, it's in this playing with patterns coordination there, and it comes in purple posy, and the purple posy and the crushed curry and the Coastal Cabana. And so I kind of pulled all those colors out, and I used Night of Navy on the wheels of the pool toy and the Coastal Cabana there. So I kind of had all colors on there, and then I put that right there. That was so cute because there's 3 of them. And so I put the crushed curry there, and then I had the purple and the Calypso. No Calypso, and then the navy, and then the same thing on this one, kind of using all of the colors there. So it was really cute to be able to put these little embellishments added a lot. I didn't have them at first, and then I was like, what do I have that could be there? Like maybe pearls or rhinestones, and I'm like, wait, no! The Playing with Patterns paper has the Playing with Patterns resin dots. So that worked out well. So then it also has a Playing with Patterns ribbon combo. Oh my gosh, how beautiful. It has this little fine edge of, whoop, here we go. We got a mess here, Cindy. So we have a purple posy, kind of like a tie-dye, and then a really pretty Night of Navy, and then also this kind of like a sturdy but easily tieable Coastal Cabana. So I put the Coastal Cabana on here, but I also wonder, I don't know if I want to be pulling on the purple posy or not. I think I will just stick with the Coastal Cabana. And then what I did there is I just stuck it down through the tag, and then I could just pull those 2 edges through this loop if my fingers would cooperate. And then I can pop that up. And you may see this card made with a few demonstrators have used it of 8 1/2 is the dimension, but I ended up making it 8 5/8 just for the purpose that it all fit. Why is this not cooperating here with me? Oh, it's caught on this edge. Okay, there we go. And then you can just snip it off wherever you would want here. You don't have to have it that, but you could also fold this under when you put it in the envelope, and then it has a little fanciness to it. But whenever you put this, I wanted this edge to have enough room that if I wanted to put it up over the card or here, but you want to be making sure, and that's why you have to have this exactly at 1 inch. Whenever you count up, you want exactly 1 inch here, because your tag might stick down over past your card. So when you make this card, make sure that your 1x4 strip that we put across here measure up so that from the bottom of the card to the bottom of there you have 1 inch. Okay, so I spared you guys my coloring, but I really love how pretty the blends worked on this, and it pulled out all the different colors in the playing with patterns, and we got to play with the little baby pool toys, and you know my little granddaughter will be too. Oh, I can't wait till she gets home. I can't wait. It's a crazy thing to have a granddaughter 3 weeks old that's literally just miles away from you, but you can't get your fingers on her and hug her. So I hope you guys will try this waterfall. I also have another waterfall card on my blog. I used a stamp set called A Mother's Flair. So if you put in the search bar on my blog on the right side, you can look up A Mother's Flair and a waterfall card will come up. I'll also link to that as well. And I did a video for that one as well, and who knows, maybe back then when I made that one, maybe I missed something on this one. So thanks so much for buzzing by, friends.